What up, though? This is Murs, and you're checking out Ambrosia for Heads. Peace. The first piece of music I bought on my own was the Fat Boys Crushin', and I love that tape a lot. I loved it so much that I had to buy it every time I toured and saw it. And classic songs such as My Nuts. It was everything. It was just that I bought it myself and that they were rapping. Like, they were rapping. That was so cool. Like, rapping was the coolest thing you could do then. It was like probably 85, 84. That was the coolest thing you could do. And I went in a store and I bought it myself, and they were rapping to me. And I could be home, and before my mom and my stepdad got home, I could like rock it in the room, and I could save my nuts. It was somewhere between I'm bad and parents just don't understand. I think, I don't know if Double Dutch Butch was the first record I ever brought, I loved. I was in kindergarten or pre-kindergarten. We had show and tell, and kids were bringing Voltron, whatever. I was like, Mom, I'm bringing this record, because this is all that matters. That for some reason as a kid, I didn't know I was having a future in music at the time, but that record, I mean, the record player in our house fascinated. We had Thriller, we had Off the Wall, I had the Mouser size record. I can tell you every record we had, because I just would want to play records all the time. And Double Dutch Butch came with me to pre-kindergarten. I was like, this is the coolest thing. I don't know about Mickey Mouse, I don't know about Donald Duck, I don't know about Bugs Bunny, I know this. Man, my first favorite rapper was LL Cool J by a long shot. He was the coolest thing I ever saw, and I hadn't even seen him. I just seen him on the cover of the Bad album. When CDs first came out, my stepfather took us to the store and said, we're getting all of these CDs, you and your brother get one. And I remember looking at Follow the Leader and Bad, and Follow the Leader and Bad, and there's just something about that guy. And I had heard I'm bad, and like, I know he wasn't thinking this, but for a kid, for him to say, forget Oreos, eat cool, dissing Oreos was probably the coolest thing you could have done, because I wanted Oreos in my lunch, and we weren't buying name brand things at that time. Like, we couldn't afford it. And I don't know if we couldn't afford it, but you look back, you didn't know you were poor growing up. You just like, so we probably couldn't afford it. But forget Oreos, eat Cool J cookies. I was like, oh yeah, fuck Oreos, because everybody, like, I get the generic, like, 99-cent huge, chocolate vanilla little cream duplex is what they used to call them. Oh, I always wanted Oreos. I never had Oreos. But when he did Oreos, like, I don't know if that lifted it off, and it's just cool, because that's what, it's childish. It's a childish rap, but it wasn't said like in a childish way. It went from Peter Piper pick peppers and run, like something about that cell seemed like hokey to me. No much respect to Run DMC, is still one of my favorite groups, but he kind of made it serious. It was still elementary. Forget Oreos, eat Cool J cookies, I'm bad. I'm notorious, I crush you like a jelly bean. All those things are childish, because he probably wrote these rhymes when he was 14 and we're just hearing them, because he was like 16, 17 when that came out. But just, I know it wasn't a conscious effort, but that's how you're gonna grab a kid. Like, he can see crush you like a jelly bean, yeah, jelly beans, Oreos, call me Jaws, my hat is like a shark's fin, like all that shit was like, so he was the coolest dude ever to me, even though I thought he was a blood and I lived in a Crip neighborhood. But that's when I fell in love with Eazy-E. I mean, I just heard some dude singing like, I put it in your culo, a 38 slug. And I was like, hey, Mr. Dope Man, you think you're sick? You sold rocks to my sister. I'm like, yo, the boys in the hood think, like, I lived in Linwood, California, just Compton, Linwood, Watts. It's like the little satellite cities of LA, but hood. I used to get my hair cut in Watts and go to the Compton swap meet. Like, he was from, like, that showed me like, oh, you don't have to wear a Kango. You have a Jerry curl, bro. You talk about 6'4s, you talk about like shit that I know about. And you look like, and Compton, I know what Compton is. We play them in football. Like, this is crazy, and you're on the radio. That made me feel like, looking back now, that's what made me feel like I could do this. Like, LL made me feel like he was black, and that, meant tons to me, because there weren't a lot of black people on television, a lot of black people in the public eye, in the record store and stuff like that, were young black people. You know, he didn't have on a suit. He wasn't singing a song. He was young, but people in my neighborhood weren't wearing Kangos and tracksuits, you know? I felt like, yo, like just a white t-shirt and some Dickies, like, and I wanted a Jerry curl so bad before I even saw Eazy, like, cause that's all the OG, like, Crip dudes in my neighborhood had Jerry curls. People were coming home from jail, like, gangbanging was like, this was before colors. Like, I wasn't allowed to see colors till I saw it myself in 2001. My mom was like, no way. Like, I was already walking the house, cuz, blah, blah, blah. Crip this, like, I was out of my mind in 6th grade, you know what I mean? So she wasn't letting us watch, but Eazy-E was like I could almost cry. Like, just think like, oh man, Boys in the Hood, that voice, like he sounded like us, he talked like us, he looked like us. That's me. Like, they're telling our story now, and that's like, I was like, it was on from there. You know what I didn't know? I was trying to explain this the other day to someone, like, it's never been a conscious thing. This is just what I do. Like, when LL came out, I would put my name into it, you know what I mean? Eazy-E, I'll put my name in, like, we had a little skateboard crew, and we had beef with these other boys called the Boys of Santa Cruz, and it was like, the Boys of Santa Cruz, and we just put their name and shit, and we'd be rapping. And then my brother was really into, like, and then X-Clan came, my stepbrother, older brother, he was like really into X-Clan, and like they would be freestyling, and he would terrorize me, like throw me up in the air and wait till I got eye level. He's like 6'4", wait till I got to eye level and punch me in the chest, and I fly into the wall, like shit you're not supposed to do. And so I was scared to death of him, but I loved him, you know, because he was the coolest dude ever. But he would like, if you don't freestyle, I'm gonna sock you. And I'm like, all right. And so I just started making up rhymes, like, you just gotta try it. And they would be rapping. Now kids wear their hat like this, but this is back when you wear his hat. You wear your hat like this, corduroy Raider hat. I remember his whole outfit, cause it was just like members only jackets, white T-shirts, like Dickies, and like or tight jeans and some high top Reeboks. Like everything was so cool. I was like, oh, and they're rapping, I'm rapping, and I just freestyle. And then like 6th grade came along, and I just felt like I had to write a rap, and I wrote a rap about Bart Simpson. I'll never forget. I rode my bike to school. Got off the bike, said it to them. I was like, yo, check this out. I wrote a rap. And they laughed at me. They straight laughed at me. And I was like, oh. So then I tried writing graffiti. I tried DJing. But I always just wanted to rhyme. I just felt like, so then I just kept freestyling. I would freestyle, because during the pressure I was put under, like as a kid to freestyle, like I was always good at that. So I would freestyle and I just battle, because I love to fight. And this was a new way for me to have confrontations with someone, without getting suspended, without going to jail, without having them want to shoot me, because that came popular at the time. No one could take an ass whooping, but if you serve somebody, like, and it wasn't for girls, it was just like, just pure aggression, like competition, like, and I was smaller, I was always a grade ahead, and I was always smarter than people, and I was always reading, so I like, off the head, I was cold. And then from there, I kind of got back into writing, and I wanted to tell stories, because like boys, that's what attracted me to Boys in the Hood, like, you know, due to my battling, I was getting jumped, and like I had grown men showing up at my high school. They're 20-something showing up at my high school, because my mom would let me promote for clubs when I was younger, for hip hop clubs. So I remember Eric Sermon's release party for his second album, Double or Nothing. I was working the door. I was 15 years old, and then when I got off, I got to go in and watch the show, and I was just checking names off the guest list, and then I battled like older dudes that I wasn't even supposed to be out, but I served them. Or then people would hear about me and come to my school, and they'd be like, yo, and they want to fight me. And I had guns pulled on me, motherfuckers tried to jump me, all this shit. So then I started like writing raps about, my first song was called Red Dots. My first whole song was just a 5-minute song about killing these dudes that came to my school to terrorize me. And they would terrorize me up until I got old enough to be like, you guys are just, I found out, you know, you're just punks. If you come to my school, like, you have nothing better to do. But for a minute, they would literally terrorize me. And so that my first song came out of like my striking back at them. Like as a whole, it's kind of hard to say, man. Like first time seeing a rapper perform was MC Hammer at TLC concert. First time seeing graffiti was all over. First time seeing b-boying was on TV. First time seeing DJing, I don't even recall, probably at a wedding reception or family reunion. But all is one, it was places like B-Boy Summit in San Diego, where I seen hip hop take over the whole city. Like I got pepper sprayed by the cops. Like B-boys on this corner in their underwear, breakdancing, battling, fools writing graffiti over everything, somebody beatboxing, we're in cypher, of course I'm battling over here, rappers, blah, 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 police come and shut it down, we're screaming at the police. Like, that's when I like felt like, oh, I was like 17 years old out here. I'm like, oh, there's a lot of us. And we're power, it literally, like, they closed down the club and it just spread into the streets. And I was like, damn, like, we're fucking shit up. But like, hip hop, like, we're just a massive graffiti, breakdancing, rhyming, beatboxing, like, you know. And I think that's like B-Boy Summits, the Rap Sheet conventions, the Rocksteady anniversary. I went to New York for the first time, and there's a rapper here named Eternia, and we were at Rocksteady '97, and the speakers went out, DJ setup went out, and the dudes my Mystic Journeyman who brought me to New York with them to perform, or just to introduce them, they knew I was off the head, so they're like, beat went out, Murs, here's a mic. And Supernatural was there, and I idolized him. And we're in Rocksteady Park in the Bronx, Rocksteady anniversary. I'm like, yo, and I just went to this freestyle and I rocked acapella, and I was like, this is it. Like, this is the culture. Like, it can't get in. And then we got on the train after that, and Eternia, me, and Apathy. We were like 17, 18 years old. We're battling on a train in the Bronx, and people are riding on it, breakdancing on the train, and I was like, this is it, even more so than be with someone, because I'm in the fucking Bronx. And like, being from California, people don't think maybe we respect the history or the culture, but that meant a lot to me. Like, I freestyled in Rocksteady Park, then I got on a train, we wrote graffiti, we breakdanced, we beatboxed, we did this, you know, in the Bronx, on a train. And to me, I was official, and I was like, I'm a B-boy for life.